Our guest now is Rob McLeod.
Frisbee Rob, not Mr. Frisbee.
A guy I met years ago playing Ultimate in Calgary, but has gone on to make his life in Frisbee.
How are you, buddy?
Or disc, as we call it, as the pros call it. Frisbee's a brand name, but I think Frisbee's all right.
Frisbee Rob's all right.
There's lots to talk about. You're a world record holder. I attended an event where you broke the world record with your dog you brought here, Davey Whippet. Tell us about your world record and tell us what it was. It's maximum time aloft, isn't it? With the dog, and describe it and tell us what it's like dealing with the Guinness World Record people. Is it the Guinness family? Is it the beer brand? What is it?
It's actually Jim Pattison owns the Guinness World Records.
Really?
And they own Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he bought that.
I did some
right.
research into it, thinking,
okay,
I have a Guinness record. Maybe I can get a free card.
Big Pattison.
And what was the record you broke?
So that record was K9 MTA. You throw a frisbee in the air, the dog runs and catches it. You measure the total time from when I throw it to when he catches it, and it was 10.56 seconds.
Now, that doesn't sound like long, but try this sometime
at
at a
home.
park. Throw a disc up as far as you can, and then
as high as you can,
and then when it comes down, catch it, and it'll be about 5 seconds.
If you hit it good.
If you hit it really good.
Well, and it's funny you asked about dealing with Guinness, and I tell kids, do you want to know a secret? Whenever I show them the Guinness book, and the picture of Davey in the Guinness book, the photographer got paid more than I did. So actually, I had to buy my own Guinness book. So if you make the Guinness book, or if you set a record, you don't get money.
So you have to buy your own
That
book?
Pattison didn't get rich giving away books.
A kid was like, don't you get $10,000 every record? I'm like, not that I know of, but I should ask.
Listen, I want you to summarize how you got into professional disc exhibitions and so forth.
It really started in 2011. I went to an overall competition. An overall competition is like heptathlon and track and field. So there's 7 different Frisbee sports over a whole week. You get points depending how you do in each event. And
the 7 are?
Let's see if I always mess up when I name them. So disc golf, discathon, accuracy. Did I say disc golf?
Yeah, you did.
I said disc
probably distance.
MTA.
Distance, self-caught flight.
Maximum time aloft?
Freestyle. Well, yeah, maximum time aloft is in self-caught
flight. Oh, that's self-caught flight. Okay.
Yeah. Right, self-caught flight.
DDC, sorry, DDC.
Discathlon's an interesting one. It's like speed golf, but through a course.
Yeah,
right?
so discathon, it's almost like you start and then there's one basket at the very end, and you have to go through trees. And a couple of friends and I, actually, some of the juniors I used to coach Ultimate, used to do, we called it the Majestic, but we did it at the UFC. And it was essentially a discathon. We didn't know that.
Yeah,
right.
We just made up this one big hole and did it.
But having a great roller and a very accurate throw, it doesn't. You could be the fastest guy on the planet, but you're not going to win that event unless you've got the perfect throws.
I'm regularly challenged by 50-year-old men because they have better throws than I do. So I'm way ahead of them, and then their frisbee or their disc will roll by me. And I'm like, oh man, I got to run faster.
So what other? So you went in all those events, and you did pretty well on the world stage, didn't you?
Yeah, I have 4 world championships at the overalls, 3 self-caught fight and 1 disc golf. So I love the overall. It's just so much fun.
Because it's an aggregate of all your achievements.
Yeah, and so that really started because I met people like Dan Roddick, who played in the first college Ultimate game.
The Stork Roddick, the guy whose name is on the Frisbee.
Yeah, I met Jim Palmieri, who invented DDC, was one of the people who popularized disc golf.
Yeah,
John Kirkland, who toured with the Harlem Globetrotters in the 70s. So all of these people are my friends and mentors, and so everything I do, I run it by them, or at least show them what I'm doing, share it with them, get their feedback.
How do you make a living doing this? I know you're really good at it, but how do you monetize
Davey makes the money.
So there's 2 ways. One is you can focus on one sport. So if you want to only play disc golf, you can make a living playing disc golf.
There's people don't understand. There's a professional disc golf association that is like the PGA, and they have cash money events, and you can make a decent living if you're the number one guy, right?
Number one guy in the world made 6 figures last year.
6 figures,
easily,
so that's where it's at. So
yeah.
he's probably 150
in sponsorship and
winning sponsorship.
Right. And what is a typical? What if you win Canadian nationals? Nothing.
I think that was $3,000, $2,000.
$3,000.
So the top disc golf tournament about $6,000 right now for 4 or 5
and
days.
What's your best performance in a Canadian national championship?
I've only played in 1. I was the 4th best Canadian, but I tied for the best round on the last day with a couple pros.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've played with this guy, by the way. This guy throws it 1 ton.
So if you've ever been to Baker, some of the holes are they're par 4s. They're not. Most of them are par 3s. Some of them are par 4s because they're 200 yards. Rob can throw the entire distance. What's your throw? What's your golf disc throw? Not your distance throw, but or I guess it's the same.
How far do you throw?
Different ones. Well, I have the Canadian record, so 712 feet. But, and I thought, I was like, that was good. My goal is 800, but I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago when the world record was broken. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
No.
I didn't.
So the men's record is now 1,109 feet.
Is that wind assisted?
Yeah.
So that
338 meters a guy threw.
do they? It's not like racing or like foot racing where they have too much wind, too many meters per second wind.
Because the wind they can't measure it.
It's just impossible to measure it. And so Stork actually had a really good chat with him after it because I helped organize the event. There was all this feedback online and a lot of people saying, "Oh, I can throw that far." The guy that threw it can throw 100 miles an hour. So it's,
Yeah, that's his release speed.
But in the 70s, when they first did a distance competition, that was the question. Everyone was like, we should throw into the wind. And then they're like, nah, let's throw downwind.
No, let's get a big number.
Yeah, and they knew someday it would eventually happen, but it took 40 years.
So how far did you throw in that same wind circumstance?
I threw like not even 600 feet.
What?
So you have to have the arm speed to overcome the wind, and my arm speed is not 90 or 100
I know
miles an
from
hour.
playing disc golf, sometimes you think a tailwind is going to help you, and it hurts you because it pushes it down.
All the women actually threw shorter. All the grandmasters threw shorter. So there's only a couple guys that threw longer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So there's money to be made in those elements.
So disc golf, if you focus on ultimate, as we talked about.
Well, there's a professional league that Vancouver's involved in.
Yeah.
And I think they get cleats and a bus fare.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that have contracts, but they're working with the company.
The coaches make money. They make $20,000 or something.
I'm not sure about that, but I know like Brody Smith.
Brody Smith is the trick
like
guy
that.
you'll see online. He's a YouTube star who throws discs from tremendous distances into basketball hoops and stuff.
So I wouldn't
like
be surprised if he's going to be six figures because he's been in commercials, right?
So where do you get your money? From Davey.
I speak in schools.
You speak in schools. You're on an anti-bullying.
It's more about kindness, acceptance, determination, and passion. I'd say more so than.
Are you getting work doing that?
Yeah, I'm booked the next 3 weeks basically in Alberta. I also teach Frisbee when I go and I teach Frisbee workshops. So there's 10 different disc sports. So right now I'm the only person to play all 10 sports. It's a lot of fun. Just trying to get people learning. There's over 100 different ways to throw a Frisbee. So it's trying to teach people what's possible.
Let's talk about Davey.
So he's a 7-year-old
Davey
Whippet. Second fastest breed in the world is a Whippet.
What's faster?
Oh, a Greyhound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But he's more agile. So anybody who has a dog, most dogs
want to catch.
Most dogs will love catching Frisbees, but you have to get them up to that. They just don't get it at first. But once you start teaching them, it's a lot of fun. So I have friends who have 18, 19 dogs, travel all over the world competing.
And but you do it for exhibition. You do it in football games and stuff like that, or
I've tried. I haven't been able to.
Is it hard to sell?
But
Davey's special. I've seen it on video.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He jumps in the air.
It's harder to sell than I thought. There's so many people. Everybody has a Facebook page for their dog now, so it's kind of hard to stand out. We did just create a children's book, and he's the main character of that. So we're trying to grow that. And,
have you got a website?
Yeah, thedavyRule.com, and that's DAVY. And Ken Westerfield, actually, I don't know, you probably have heard
we know the legend.
I've played against him.
Yeah, so he gave us the idea for the book.
Hand blocked him twice.
Nice. Yeah, he's an amazing player. He's an amazing player. I'll have to tell him that.
He was old.
Oh, he was old when we played.
But it was in a semifinal. Anyway, tell him I hand blocked him twice.
He's an amazing guy.
He'll like that.
One of the neatest guys I met actually last weekend is in Virginia, the Virginia State Frisbee Tournament, 40th annual. Don Kane was there. I don't know if you're familiar with that name. So he set the MTA world record in 1984, and he still owns it.
Wow. Maximum time loft. So throw to self, into the air, it floats, you catch it with one hand. How long's he got?
16.72 seconds.
Yeah, it's just shy of 17.
Like people, if you ever try to do that, you will not get more than 5 seconds, just like Grant said. That guy's at 16. What's your best?
15.37.
Get on it, buddy.
And I've had some over 16 in practice that I didn't catch.
Right.
But I'm like, Don, I want your record.
And by the way, you have to catch it with one hand.
One hand.
Yes, you can't not two-hand catch. Speaking of two hands, and we often say in Ultimate, hey, use two hands. Ultimate Frisbee's just been recognized by the IOC. What does that mean?
The World Flying Disc Federation actually was recognized, so all disc sports.
Oh,
really?
So there is potential for any disc sport to be in the Olympics. If I was a betting man, I would say disc golf before Ultimate. Disc golf has the potential to be, it's already bigger than Ultimate.
You were telling me off air the number of millions of dollars that are bought and sold in the field of...
About 10 times is what I've been told.
Of Ultimate.
Because
but how much is it? What's the total?
I've heard disc golf is over 100 million
100 million
revenues.
market.
I mean, if you ever go to Baker, it's lined up almost. I mean, there are a lot of people that have taken on disc golf,
And each person has 5 to 10 to 20 discs.
Well, when we put the first course together, Kevin and I and a few of our ultimate buddies that were into disc golf at Pierce Estates in, I want to say 83,
85 or something
like that. We had to talk the city into it, and they thought we were freaks.
Well,
But-
John Carlo is just an
Yes.
incredible advocate for disc golf.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So Royal Oak, we're actually having a new course installed there.
What else is going on with disc golf in town?
Lloyd Park. I don't know if you guys have been
No,
to
where's that?
Lloyd Park
Lake,
in Red Deer Lake.
Red Deer Lake, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a new course.
It's pay
yeah,
$20 per year.
25 this
Oh,
year.
that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's the potential is
Calgary
huge.
Disc Golf.com, I think, has got a bunch of info.
Yeah, and there's courses going up all the time. So yeah, Frisbee just has a lot of potential just because it is accessible. You don't have to pay a lot of money to get into it.
Right.
It's just a lot of fun.
On the Olympic subject, the thing about disc sports in general is that they traditionally all have been self-refereed on a spirit of play and honor and so forth. That seems inimical to the Olympic way.
So the IOC,
it's a cheater fest.
The IOC agenda is mixed gender, and they love that self-officiated part of it. So that's why we're pushing the spirit of the game. This summer, actually, the World Ultimate Championships, we did a Kickstarter campaign, and we're going to be broadcasting the mixed finals on CBS Sports Network.
You know, my favorite version of mixed ultimate is 6 players.
Okay.
3 women, 3 men. I think you can use a slightly smaller field, which makes it easier to get on. And I think it's easier when you have handlers and lane runners separated gender-wise. And I just think they did that at the World Games years ago, and I thought it worked really well. I don't know what you guys think about that. Maybe it's an abomination because it's not 7, but
I'm open to anything. I'm a fan of Frisbee. Frisbee actually isn't trademarked anymore. It's gone common domain.
Oh,
okay.
So we
really?
refer to Frisbee all the time.
we can
You
talk-
still do. Yeah, it's funny because for people in the sports, they seldom used the expression Frisbee over the last 20 years because it was an inferior model. The most people use something that's called Discraft. It's a rival brand that is
Just for
clearly
Ultimate,
superior for Ultimate,
Yeah.
and then there are golf manufacturers from a variety of different companies, but very few people said Frisbee over the years. But now it's glad you're rehabilitating it, bro.
Trying to teach people because Guts, DDC, and the Fastback are all Whammo. So the Whammo Ultimate disc isn't very good.
No.
But those other 3 Frisbees, we need them.
But
We need to bring back the Pluto platter.
But thanks for being our guest.
Frisbee Rob McLeod. When's your next
web-
competition?
Your website again and your next...
FrisbeeRob.com. My next big one is in a month, actually, in Indiana with Davey.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's a head-to-head. And
Distance. I
it's
throw
distance.
it, he catches it, and
And what's your record on that?
116 and a half yards with one of these, which is essentially a fastback. So they're
Awesome.
about 106 grams.
This thing is that is a total Cheerios
All right.
thing.
Hey, all the best in your next competition.
And that's for you guys.
All right.
Oh,
thanks,
really?
Thanks a lot.
Hey, dude, we got Frisbee Rob signed fastback.
All right.
Let's. Is this what you use for DDC too, or no? They use different. Okay. Frisbee Rob McLeod. Look for him, and Davey Whippet. In a field somewhere near you. If you see somebody throwing it a shit ton, he's your Huckleberry.